Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Charitable and Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And there are two things that I love. I love when we work with organizations that make a huge difference in our community, and I love talking about these events here in the springtime where they can raise some money to be able to do that. We welcome in some of our CASA team here in the area. First one, a good friend of mine for many, many years, Amos Mosley. Amos, thanks for being here, my friend.
It's my pleasure, Keith. It's a pleasure.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Sitting next to him is Summer Reyes. Summer, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you.
All right, we appreciate it. And next to her is Mr. Reese Prevost. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Reese, of course, CASA board president. Ms. Soma is the outreach and training coordinator. And Amos does so many different things, but he's board member and event coordinator for the Herman J. Corville Foundation. But let's start by talking about the importance of raising money. It's one of those things that everybody needs to do. Y'all find a fun way to do it. Let's talk about this Crawfish
Yes, it is.
off.
That's one thing about the Tri-Parish area, Keith. You know,
Right.
think about it when you put out an ad or you go forward and you says, help, donation. So and that's what happened with the Tri-Parish area. People come from all over in the Tri-Parish area, you know, to help out. So when we started this 16 years ago,
16 years.
we had 5 teams.
Right?
And now, 16 years, well, last year, our 15 years, we had right at 65 teams. And the year prior to that, we had 78 teams.
78, I remember.
You know, so we went from $249 a year, and Herman rounded it off to $500 so we can donate the money to CASA. As to what was CASA?
Right?
Because when we started the foundation, not the foundation, the Crawfish Ball, we was just doing it so we can ball the best crawfish.
Right?
CASA was born,
Right?
as we asked where it would go for. And again, we went from $249 the first year, the second year we raised $360, the fourth year, third year we raised $1,501, and then the fourth year, then we raised $1,939, and the fifth year we raised $14,379, and then the clock just went on
Right.
up from
Just
there.
kept getting bigger
Right.
and bigger.
And what's good about it, like I said, crawfish season comes around and everybody want to know when is CASA.
Right? Right?
They're gearing up for the CASA event.
Right.
So, and this year our event is May 6th.
Right.
Which we're always the first weekend. We try to be the first weekend of May.
Right?
So we get out there, so we get it started. We start advertising, start the ball rolling.
Sure.
And getting things going. And so, and with the working team that we have with the CASA personnel,
Right.
that's an added tribute to the platform as well. You know, we started this out with the Corville family, myself, Chad Corville, and his mother, Cindy, and his wife, Christine, and Chad, brother-in-law, Terrell, and his sister, Jennifer. We took it off running with it, and like I said, 16 years later, and
Here we are now.
Yes.
Go ahead, Jen, put that back up again. As we mentioned, as Amos mentioned, Saturday, May 6th, 2023, it's going to be at 1238 St. Charles Street, which is on the Rite Aid parking lot, the old Rite Aid parking lot, from 11 to 2. It's the Southdown Ball's Crawfish Ball. Used to be right there at Southdown, right?
Yes.
Got too big for the
That's right.
for the bar right there.
Yes.
And now they have crawfish, live music, Kona Ice, a live auction, a bounce house, and again, live music from 11 to 2. The teams are going to be out there. I want to put another flyer up to let you know how you can get involved. There are 2 different ways to register. You can do that in person at 2 different places, the Southdown Bar or the Porsche Tavern, either of those, or you can register via Venmo. You can go to HJC Foundation, Herman J. Corville Foundation, to be sure to include your name and your phone number there. Just to let you know, it's $75 for a 4-person team entry, right?
yes.
Yeah, and so that may look like a 1. It's not. It's a 7. And when you go to register, you'll realize that. But again, $75, really exciting for us to be able to talk about and get people involved in what's coming up. But there's going to be a whole lot of fun out there that day. Let's put the last one up if you don't mind. Again, there'll be Kona Ice, there'll be children's entertainment. It is from 11 to 2 on May 6th. As Mo mentioned, it is going to be May 6, 2023 at the old Rite Aid parking lot. That's 1238 St. Charles Street in Houma, 11 to 2. Again, excited about that. Right there off of St. Charles. Can't miss it. Lots of tents are going to be out there. And it's really important because these organizations can't exist without the funds raised. So, Amos, you mentioned early on, a couple $100, y'all rounded up to 500. And here we are with an expectation that we really want to get as many teams, 65 teams last year, 78 the year before that. How many teams are y'all looking forward to this year?
Well, honestly, we're looking at, hopefully, with the weather permit and everything, hopefully about another 70 teams again this year.
70
because right now, we've got the people calling in and they want to get involved. So we're right at about 35, 40 teams right now is ready.
And we're a month away.
Yes, yes.
That's fantastic. It's very much appreciated. And so I know, Amos, you are involved in so many different things. Let's talk about why CASA. Let's talk about why we do that. I know why. I want you to be able to tell the people at home why they should come out, join this Crawfish Boil-Off, and give that money to such an important cause.
Thank you for that, because when I got involved with the CASA thing, because of the Crawfish Boil, I started to see behind the scene as to where the money was going. And the whole program of this is, if we can help one kid get to that next level, to get that path, it's a tribute to everybody who came out and contributed to the whole foundation, the whole function. You know, and the thing about it is, like I said, you can raise all the money there is, but you just want to help that one kid to get to the next level. And coming to find out what CASA is, Court Appointed Special Advocates, is to help these kids who go wayward and they need help. They need somebody to speak for them.
Right. And Reese, tell us a little bit about being the president, the board president, about how important CASA is and what it does.
Yeah, so Amos kind of touched on it, but there's several kids in this community that they don't have opportunities in life that some of us may have, and that CASA advocate is there to speak on behalf of them when they end up in the foster care system through the state of Louisiana. So there's many kids in this community that need a CASA volunteer, and by doing this Crawfish Boil, we're able to raise the funds so we can continue to recruit and do the training that's necessary to get the volunteers in the door to help support these kids in the community. So
it's really, really important. And someone, we know that you're boots on the ground. You're one of those people who are making these programs happen, coordinating, training, all of those things. Let's talk about people and how they can make a difference in so many different ways with CASA.
So our members of the community can contribute to our organization in various ways by coming out to the Crawfish Boil-Off and, you know, supporting us through that, but also becoming a CASA volunteer.
Okay.
You know, in order for us to make a difference in these children's lives, we have to be alongside them. And the more individuals we can train, we can assign. At this moment, we have 155 children who are still on our waiting list,
Wow.
who need a CASA. We are servicing about 46 children, but again, the need is still there.
Right. And there are 4 different ways people can make a difference. They can volunteer, like you mentioned. They can contribute by coming out. If you don't want to bring a team, you can just sponsor a team. Just give some money. Amos will take your check, your Venmo, your cash, coins. He'll take whatever you'll give him. To do that, there's a way to support, like we're talking about, support the local CASA, or you can share the information, speak up about it, and help other people do that. Let's talk about how people can become a volunteer. It's a pretty easy process.
So we have info sessions throughout the year that you can join, and we have Zoom available as well if you can come in person and learn about our program.
Okay.
The moment you decide, hey, this is what I want to do, you can apply online.
Okay.
And then from there, we start the process of background checks and getting everybody ready to start attending training. The training is 30 hours,
Right.
and that's, you know, done at our office. And if you come to our sessions, we feed you, so you don't have to worry about, you know, not being fed.
Right.
And upon completion of the background checks and also the training, then you get to be sworn in. And, you know,
And that's a
start the
big deal,
process. It
right?
is.
It's a graduation of sorts.
Correct.
But it's interesting because it's a graduation of people that are really going to make a difference in helping. And so, you know, 5 hours a week for those 6 weeks, that 30-hour training process. And then I think a lot of people are wondering, okay, what am I signing up for? What does a CASA volunteer actually do? Let's talk a little bit about, once that volunteer gets sworn in, what they do.
Upon becoming certified and choosing a case, being assigned by a judge, you are responsible for visiting your child once a month and, you know, other communication throughout the month and,
Right.
you know, kind of just getting to know them.
Right.
Because that is the way that you are going to be able to advocate, is knowing their history, their background, and visiting with all of those entities that have that are part of that child.
Right.
And so when you report back to the court, you have a good understanding of what you are reporting and what you need to advocate for.
Okay.
We have children of different ages that come into state's custody, from newborn to almost aging out at the age of 18. So they all have different needs. And through training, you're going to learn about all the ages and stages and, what each child needs. And it'll be more centered on that child once you have chosen the child.
Right, more case specific
more
once you're assigned that
correct.
person. And you get to know about them, you learn about them, and the investigation part is to investigate about what their needs are, right? It's
It's-
uncovering the needs of that particular child.
Correct. And, when we think about investigating, it's not like you're going
No.
full, investigating
You're not a
mode.
detective.
No, you are definitely just talking to individuals about, the child and, the behaviors and if there's anything that they need. And of course, as you visit with them, you also get a better understanding of, if there are some deficits that need to be taken care of.
Right. And now that we've done such a good job of articulating that, people want to become a volunteer. Let's give them some options for how they can reach out to you and how they can contact CASA to become that volunteer and make a difference, like Mo said, in at least one child's life.
So they can contact our office.
Okay.
They can put their application in through our website. They can walk in through the doors. I mean, we are there from 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. And
Right.
like I said, we have many options to communicate with them and give them more information.
Right, or they can just go to your website, and again, that's www.casaofterraborn.org, right? And they can get more information there, they can find out a little bit more about the boil-off, where the money's gonna go to make sure that we're affecting lots of children's lives, but especially those that are really in need. And we mentioned those training dates earlier. I know that that's important because sometimes people have to schedule that. So Jen, put those training dates up. Want to let you know that they have 3 different training dates already scheduled. We need lots of volunteers to come and participate in the training dates. They start on April 25th, right before the boil-off, so that's exciting. We'll have a bunch of new volunteers. They do it again on July 18th, and then that 3rd session to end out the year will start on October the 10th. And Mo, last few seconds, tell us about this check they can see.
Yeah, like you said, what you can see there is the CASA Terrebonne check. All proceeds that we make goes to CASA to help these kids. So we keep a little money in to keep the game going for the
Right.
next year, but all proceeds goes to CASA.
Well, we want everybody to volunteer, want everybody to go out to the boil-off. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Very much appreciated. All right, guys, that will do it for this particular segment. Don't go anywhere. A lot more Bayou time when we continue.